Hey, welcome back, guys. Today is sanding day, everybody's favorite day to hate. Let's face it, the number one reason people hate drywall is because they gotta sand the stuff. It's not about the installation, that's fine. It's not about doing the mud work. And I've taught you how to do mud work in previous videos so that you don't have to sand between coats and you don't have to sand a whole ton when you're done your project. Today we're gonna talk about how to sand drywall without making a mess. So, let's just jump right in. Now, if you have a small space, all you need is this. This is a sanding sponge. It's a medium grit. You can get it off the shelf at the Home Depot, and it has an angle on it, and that's designed for your inside corners, okay? You can take the wide piece of this, and you can get that nice dusty look. That's a hard edge, that's a sanded edge. It's soft and fuzzy like clouds, okay? That's what you're aiming for. Once you get that, everything in the middle, you're just changing the texture to be consistent. That's officially sanded. Haha, nice and easy. It doesn't matter how big your room is or how small it is, you gotta be able to do an inside corner. Number one mistake people make is they turn this around, they shove it square in the corner. Well, that's a 90, that's a square, and they go sand like this. And what they end up getting is a ridge right here. And they put a groove in that. Now you go prime that, you go ready to paint. You gotta fix all that. And I'm gonna have to fix that now too. But here's the deal. If you take your sponge, put it in the corner like that on the angle, and then you open it up a little bit, now you're sanding the whole width of this mud, and you're not grooving this side of the wall, and you're just sharpening up that edge. Okay? There we go. Now that side is done. Again, get that nice and foggy, like that little cloudy look, you're good to go. And you can do your whole room with one sponge. It's gonna last like a bathroom reno or something like that. Now, if you're doing a bigger space and ceilings, you might wanna get something like this. Telescopic pole, it's a radius 360, or Richard makes one. There's a few different manufacturers. I don't really care. They all do the same thing, the hook and loop, and you can get a little screen or sandpaper on there, and you can flip it upside down, put it on the ceiling, and you can sand this way. Okay? Same thing, get that nice cloudy look, change the texture of the mud, and that'll help make this a much faster job. That way you're not walking around with a sanding sponge right in front of your face, up in the ceiling, covering yourself full of dust, and that's another option. Now, in all these cases, you're gonna need one more thing. So if you're using any kind of traditional sanding tools, you're gonna need this, okay? It's a floor sweeping compound, and what we're gonna do with this is demonstrate the value of it here, okay? Yep, it's still red. Years back, we had a company here in Ottawa that actually made compound like this, and it was green. There we go. Bunch of drywall dust in the corner. When you're done, you simply throw this in the corner, and you can sweep it, and it eats the dust. It won't kick it up in the air, and that'll help keep your dust down. Okay? But the reality is, when you're dealing with these situations, it's already too late because you've added so much dust to your house and it's all over the place. So here's what you need to do to prevent dust from going through your house, driving you crazy. First thing you've got to do is you got to turn off your furnace or your air conditioning or anything else that's like got a blower fan, okay? Set up a zip wall over the entrance to the room and then put a window or a fan with ducting to exit the basement or the room that you're working in, okay? That creates negative pressure so all the dust in the air gets sucked out of the window into the outside, and out there nobody cares. But if you're doing a huge room like this, which is 1,700 square feet, you're gonna wanna get one of these bad boys. Now this is a professional tool, but it's not expensive. I just picked this one up on Amazon, 600 bucks, and then whoa, you might say, Jeff, that's expensive. If you've ever sanded a huge drywall project like a basement and it takes almost all day, and then you have to hire cleaners to come clean your house, they're gonna charge you more than 600 bucks. So, might wanna consider this. This is just a battery powered tool, which means the following. You can use your existing batteries from all your dwell tools. You hook up a vacuum to it, done, and while you're buying this, you can buy the pads at the same time. They sell these in packs of like 20 or 40. They come anywhere from 40 to 400 grit. Might recommend that you start with the 400 while you're getting used to a tool for the first time. And because it's variable speed, turn the speed way down to 1. Get started. I'm using 240 because that's what I like to sand my drywall with, and I'm using it on number 7 because I'm comfortable with it. So here we go. We're gonna give you a little demonstration. To start it, push the button. All right, there we go. Two more little things I should mention. Tool that comes without batteries also doesn't have the adapter for the vacuum. So they sell that on Amazon as well. Make sure you grab one if you buy the tool. And I know it's 600 bucks, but here's the deal. You can use it and have it as I used it once and sell it again on Kijiji. And you can get 450 or 500 for it, no problem. And that way it only costs you 100 bucks to sand your whole basement. You don't have to hire somebody, you don't have to hire a cleaner, you can do it yourself, and you can do it for about 100 bucks. Now, because I'm working overhead, I'm using a tiny little battery. And this isn't gonna last very long, I'm only gonna get 20, maybe 30 minutes out of it. That's fine, I've got more on the charger. Here's the nuance. As long as your handle is close to the ceiling, it works really evenly because it's spinning. okay? And it pivots on ahead. So you wanna keep it as close to the ceiling as you can. As soon as you get to like this, now you're putting pressure on either that side or that side. There's no option. You're gonna be putting pressure and it becomes a gouging wheel. And you're like, and you're just belt sand part of the ceiling off. That's bad. Just remember, keep your pole close to the surface that you're working on instead of like this. Because if you're straight off of it, it's just gonna run you right off the ladder. That's about all there is to it. Now, the coolest thing about this is, I would say over 90% of the dust is trapped by the vacuum. Now, I've got a vacuum bag and a HEPA filter vacuum set up, so I'm gonna be good to go. Now, I'm gonna just do a quick time lapse on this thing and show you how easy this is to get done. This is very, very satisfying because I'll tell you, once you learn how to mud and then you get a proper sanding tool like this, you're gonna love drywall, just like I do. Now the sanding machine doesn't get right inside the corners, so you're still gonna have to use the blue sponge. You are going to expose screw heads that are sticking out too far. That's okay, that's what the prime check is for. Just tighten up any screw head that's sticking out and use 45-minute compound to patch that up. Then you can prime and do your prime check and you'll be good to go. The darn thing is heavy. There's no two ways around it. It is work. The secret to success here is to keep switching from one low hand to one high hand above your heart, because you can only hold that machine above your heart for so long before your arm tires because you're pumping the blood up above the heart. As long as you keep switching your hands, you'll be able to get the job done in no time at all. Remember, let the machine do the work. It's not about you pushing the sander into the ceiling. All you're doing is holding it so that you're making positive contact. It is a vacuum, so it'll help hold itself against the ceiling. Your job is just to put it in the right position. It's not your job to physically be applying any pressure. So just take it easy, let the machine do the work, and enjoy drywall, finally for the first time in your life. Now you can see, guys, right here, I got little imperfections from when I actually did my mud. There is a law in drywall, and here's the law. We are simply taking off ridges. We are not trying to sand out grooves into a longer space. Imperfections are imperfections. That's what prime check is for. What I'm looking at here, all these little imperfections, most of those go away with a simple swipe of the brush. Those are the ones that you're not going to get with the machine. And that's going to create some dust. It's going to fall to the ground. That's why you need the red dust. Other than that, you're good. Now, the next step, of course, is the next video in the series. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you've hit the bell for notifications. And if you haven't seen what we're up to in this whole basement from the beginning, there'll be a link in the video description. Check it out. This is a massive project. We're doing almost 2,000 square feet of basement, completely refinishing from start to finish. This is going to be a great project. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got another 1,000 square feet to get back to. Cheers to next time.